Good morning and welcome to the EZFX trading room broadcast for Wednesday, September 14th, 2016. My name is Bradley Freed, and for the next 20 to 30 minutes, you're going to be joining me for a review of our watch list from yesterday. We're going to go through all the trades we were watching, all the trades we had open, and anything that's closed. Also, any new trade ideas that I want to add to the list today and share with you. During the broadcast, if you have any questions, we have a chat room on this page. You can post your question at the end of the broadcast. I'll answer everyone's questions live. If you're watching the recording, you can go to the community link at the top of the site, on the top site menu, and you can either find me, I'm EZFX on the members list. You can send me a private message, or you can go to the groups item on the menu and join the trading room group and post your question there, or you can contact me by email at ezfxsignal@gmail.com. All right, so without further ado, let's get started by reviewing our watch list from yesterday. We were watching the dollar peso sell, pound Aussie sell, Aussie Swiss buy, dollar CAD sell, Euro Aussie sell, and New Zealand dollar buy. We had open a Aussie dollar buy and a New Zealand sell, and we closed out our Euro pound. I did an early exit on that on Monday. And then I had three signals that were open. Two of those were the pound Aussie sell and the Aussie Swiss buy. Those had stopped out. And so I'm looking for retrade opportunities on these. And there was one that I sent out, and I'll get to that when we go to the charts, which we're going to do right now. So right to that, what we're looking at is we're looking for a reversal setup, and I think we're starting to see that on some of these pairs. The most notable one at the moment is the pound Aussie. We have a new Class A supply zone. We had a sell bubble here, and now we have a nice trend line that we drew across the wicks. And now we have the triangular moving average changing colors. So the last thing we'd be waiting for on this to have what's as close to a perfect mean reversion trading setup as we can get is we need a candle close below this trend line. When that happens, depending on how large that is, we would need a fairly large stop, say 114 pips, with an initial profit target of about 1-to-1 down to this weekly pivot here. Depending on where we get our entry, we could use this second weekly pivot, last week's weekly pivot, for 129, which would give us better than 1-to-1. And then a final profit target using the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement of this trend here. And that can actually be adjusted a bit. This did stop out once, remember. So this would be a retrade. So all those would be a little bit higher up. But otherwise, that's exactly how I do it. So this is in the offing. This is something I'm watching. I want to move pound Aussie down to as a new trade because we're still waiting for one more thing, but it's almost there. I plan to send that out as a signal once I decide on it's time to open the trade. All right, next let's look at the Aussie Swiss. This did open a retrade. It's retraced a bit since I opened it. I'm hoping this isn't just a repeat of what happened for the first one. Remember, the first signal happened when we got this buy bubble. We had a trend line break. We had divergence. We had everything we needed, and then it fell further. It fell further right into this zone here. And this zone happens to be an old Class A demand zone. So that's a point where we would expect there to be some reversal. And in fact, it did hit it in a breakout. It broke a trend line. We had the previous buy bubble. We have a almost buy bubble here. We had a nice trend line break, and then it dropped a little bit overnight. So I'm hoping this will rise again, that this isn't going to retrace to a lower low. But if it does, that just means that our 1-2 punch retrade failed, and then we just set it aside and we look at different pairs for a while. But at the moment, this is open, so go ahead and move it on the list. It's open and you can still buy it. If you haven't gotten into this yet, though, let me just give me a second here and I'll tell you about that. It's open and I send it out as a signal. If you haven't gotten into it yet, draw a trend line across these wicks here and just kind of wait. And it may go lower and it may not stop out, then it may recover. And then you may get a good, if it goes for a while before it does that, you may get a nice discount on the price and you'll get a nice confirmation instead of buying into something that may be retracing down to a stop. I just think it's a more conservative, better idea to do that. If you're already in it though, just hang on. We're along for the ride. These things happen. Once these things get established, if we do get a trend breaking out, our targets are the 50% retracement level and the 78.6% retracement level. So those are kind of the new things that are happening at the moment. The other thing I was watching before I went to bed last night was the dollar peso. I drawn a new trend line on this yesterday, and it did break below that overnight, and then it ran right up again. So it's still ranging. It still doesn't quite want to break down. So I drew a new second trend line, a little bit shallower angle. And if it breaks below that and closes below that, then I'll consider going ahead and taking a sell trade. But for right now, I don't have to do anything. I'm not in it yet. I'm not terribly worried about anything I'm not in until I'm in it. So I just drew a new trend line and we'll wait and see if it can close below that. So the dollar peso, I would say it's not quite a new trade yet. So I'm going to leave it on the watching list for now. The dollar CAD. The dollar CAD made a new high, so it's not ready to, or it didn't quite make a new high. It returned to the previous high here. I did redraw the trend lines. I redrew the Fibonacci. I'm looking for a break below this trend line, a color change in the triangular moving average. I'd like this to be a Class A zone. This may go higher and it may start at this zone, but we're still looking for a breakdown on this pair. It's just we're waiting, especially for this trend line break, before I'm really going to take action on it. And it appears to still want to trend higher. So we'll just be patient with it and wait for it to tell us when it's ready to fall. Next, we have the Euro Aussie. And this pair is also, we have a nice trend line. It dropped once and then went higher, gave us a false signal, stopped out. So we're looking for a second signal. We have a second sell bubble here. We have a new trend line. We have no zone, no divergence. So we have nothing else to contribute to an entry signal. However, I think we'll probably get one. But for right now, it's still not breaking down. So it's still on the watch list, but it's close. It looks like it could be, or could trend higher before it does it. But I'm liking these more and more because they're starting to struggle. And when they start to struggle, that means that our opportunity is getting near. New Z dollar buy. And this one, we'd drawn a trend line, redrew the trend line, and it's moved lower. It hit this monthly pivot. We have a new buy bubble here. I think we also had a buy bubble here at one point before it went up and then dropped and stopped, and it would have hit the stop. Looking for a breakout here, hopefully another zone or divergence. And then we can target the weekly pivot in the 78.6% Fibonacci retracement. But we're not there yet. I wouldn't get into this until we have at least a close above this trend line. So we're still watching that. Some other things I'm watching, let's see. Of course, we have our open New Z yen trade. This is still open. You know, it started to retrace up, but we haven't had a color change on the triangular moving average yet. It's still facing down. So I'm kind of holding on to this because what if all these breakouts fail and we get another step down on these pairs, then this is going to go down too. And it's going to get to, you know, almost We just missed out on closing out the first position on the spread here. And then we got a class A signal. That's actually that's actually a closed signal. We could go ahead and close it on that. So if you want to close it, you have a reason right here. This is the class A demand zone. That's an early exit signal. You can close this trade and take profit. Or you can wait until you get confirmation of this and a color change on the triangular moving average. Entirely up to you. Or you can wait and see if it's going to go lower. But because our stop isn't at break even yet, I'd always advise just urging caution and going ahead when it's showing you this and taking profit because it's safer. Let's see, New Zealand, we talked about that. Aussie dollar, that stopped out. Let's take a look at that real quick. This hit a stop and we lost 76 pips. I did post this. I posted this in the signals blog as well, so you can see the details there in the chart and everything of what it looked like when it closed. And unfortunately, it did. It did everything. It did what the other pairs did. The other trades did. It stopped out, and now it's getting ready to set up a new trade. So this would be a retrade. I read you the trend line. We have a new Class A zone here. It looks like it wants to move lower. We have a new buy bubble. We have everything we need except we need a strong breakout in the buy direction, and then we'd be interested in trying to retrade on this. Targets would be the monthly pivot and the Fibonacci 78.6% retracement level above. Right now, this doesn't look like it's too interested in breaking out, so I just hold on, wait for a real strong candle. Not a small candle, not a wick, nothing else. It has to be a strong candle that really indicates that there may be a reversal on the offing, and then you can take the risk and try to take the trade and retrade this pair. Okay, so that means that we're watching that again. So Aussie dollar. About the New Zealand, talked about the pound Aussie, which was a new trade. Talked about our open Aussie Swiss retrade. Fingers crossed on that one. Let's see, New Zealand, Aussie Swiss. Aussie. Okay, so CAD, your Aussie, your Newsy. Here's one we haven't talked about yet. Okay, this is a lot like the Euro Aussie. I drew a trend line under this trend in price. The triangle moving average is starting to kind of roll over a little bit. We did have a sell bubble here. We weren't looking at this, but there was a sell bubble and a breakdown, and then a breakout, and there would have been a stop out if we'd been trading this. But we're waiting for this to set up another trade. So I'm going to add this to our watch list. This is just like the Euro Aussie. I just think you should know about everything that's potentially setting up. Aussie yen, this is another one I'm looking at. This set up fairly early and broke out, and then it dropped and retraced overnight. This is either an opportunity to get in now on the retracement before it breaks out again, or it's going to keep falling. So this would be up to you. You can get in with a 71 pip stop now or 72 pip stop now. Initial profit target at the monthly pivot would be 1-to-1, or the weekly pivot above would be 101. That's greater than 1-to-1. Final profit target at the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level. This would be a new trade, and I'm just going to add it here. Buy trade, it's a new trade. I'm still on the fence about it a little bit. I haven't sent this out, so still thinking about this one. And then Newsy dollar buy. This is another one I'm looking at. I don't think we talked about this yet. Oh, yeah, we did. We already talked about it. Looking for a breakout on this one as well. So I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today, every update. Like I said, we sent out one retrade on this Aussie Swiss on a valid signal. It's retraced a bit now. I'm hoping it's going to recover and start to trend, and we'll see this triangular moving average turn blue and carry this higher towards our targets. But right now we're getting close to that transition point where I think we're going to see a lot of setups starting, and things can get really active really fast when that happens. So I'll have more information for you via trade signals. And if you have any questions, just give me a shout, either on private messages or the group or the trading room group, or send me an email. And I don't think anyone's trading live today. Let's just see if anyone's on live this morning. Nope, not this morning, but if you're watching the recording, always feel free to contact me. EZFX signal, gmail.com, or via the community features on this website. I'll be back tomorrow with another update, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good trading day.